Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Drayton, and I will be discussing and analyzing German regimes and parties, as well as the executive roles that are in the current government. And this is from modules 2, 5, and 7. So the current German regime is democratic. It was formed after the 1945 Potsdam Conference, in which the Allied powers after World War II in the UK, United States, and Soviet got together to decide how they wanted to rebuild Europe. This is where they divided Germany from East and West. The West consisted of the United States, France, and the UK, and they set up that to be a democratic government. And then the East was controlled by the Soviet Union. It was set up by the communist government and was communist and was a totalitarian regime and was a Soviet satellite state. In 1990, after the fall of the Soviet Union, Germany once again reunified under a single parliamentary republic. It wasn't just half anymore, it was a full parliamentary republic. So the parliament in Germany is known as the Bundestag. It is the same as the UK, just a different name for it. And then elections happen every 4 years. The ballot seen here on the right is quite different than a normal electoral process. On the left, you have the politician and the party they represent, who you vote for. And then on the right, you actually vote for the political party. This determines the overall percentage each party gets in the Bundestag. In order for a party to enter the Bundestag, they must get at least 5% of the overall national vote. This prevents from having too many political parties in the Bundestag, as well as to prevent smaller extremist parties from gaining power. And the current Bundestag has 736 seats and 7 different parties. It is worth mentioning that, much like other parliamentary republics, the Bundestag has the highest legislative power in German politics. So the current majority government is controlled by the Social Democrats and the parties they have a coalition with. The Social Democrats has 206 seats in the Bundestag, which is the most currently. They are a left-wing party who have socialist ideals, support social justice, the modernization of economy, and a welfare state. And then you have got the Green Party. They are also a left-wing organization, political party, and are focused on primarily environmentalism and more eco-friendly. It was just in the news a couple months ago that when they got their way with eliminating all nuclear power plants in Germany in their efforts to have a more renewable energy source as the overall arcing energy source in Germany, getting rid of fossil fuels. So that's been their main goal in their policy, just making everything more eco-friendly and environmentalist. Then you have the Free Democratic Party, which is a center-right capitalist and individualistic party. You may be wondering, why is the center-right party in a coalition with two left-wing parties? Well, scholars have identified the Free Democrats as closer to the Christian Democrats, which is the main oppositional party on economic issues, but more closely related to the Social Democrats and Green Party with issues such as education, defense, and foreign policy, which the party deemed as more important this election cycle. So it may change the next election cycle. They may not be in the same coalition, but for now, that's where it stands. And then you have the minority government, which the Christian Democrats and the Christian Social Union in Bavaria both have had a coalition and a partnership as long as they have existed. They are a center-right party who supports free market and the market economy, some social welfare programs, tax relief, and they oppose the greening of the economy if it's not efficient. It doesn't support the economy. So the Christian Social Union of Bavaria is just a subset of the Christian Democratic Union. It's just a party in Bavaria that has the same pretty much views as the Christian Democrats, and every election cycle they partner in order to get more votes. And then you have the Alternative for Germany party. Now this is concerning to many because they have 80 seats in parliament, which is quite a lot, because they are a right-wing, populist, and borderline extremist party who oppose immigration into Germany, especially the Muslim immigrants that are coming into the country. This is very concerning because in the 1930s, something very similar happened with Hitler and the Jews, in which he blamed virtually every problem in Germany on the Jews. The Alternative for Germany party blames the Muslim immigrants for much of their problems right now. For example, they're having an imminent housing crisis in Germany right now because of all the immigration, in which they are short 1.2 million homes, and they are blaming specifically the Muslim immigrants for this problem. They are against renewable energy sources, just like the other center-right parties. And then you have the Left Party, which have 39 seats, so barely above that 5%. They are a left-wing party with socialist ideals. They are borderline totalitarianists, so they want the government to control virtually everything. They support defunding the military as well as dissolving NATO and dissolving borders and allowing everyone to come in. And it's worth mentioning these last two parties I talked about. They do not have a partnership or a coalition with any party because the parties deem them as too extremist for them. And now we will transition to the executive roles. Olaf Scholz is the current chancellor, which is just the prime minister of Germany. He's held this position since 2021 when Angela Merkel of the Christian Democrats announced she was not going to run again. She held that position for 16 years. And Olaf Scholz, in the last election cycle of the Social Democrats, he won the election and was appointed by his party. And then Frank-Walter Steinmeier is the current president of Germany. He has held this position since 2017. It is a 5-year position with 2 terms. So after the next term, we will see a new president in Germany. It's worth mentioning that the chancellor does not have any term limits, so you can serve as long as you wish, or as long as you are elected. The chancellor, like earlier stated, is elected by the appointment from their own party, so they have to be popular within their party to hold this position. They are the head of government, so they are the main political position of the government of Germany. They appoint cabinet members, but it is not the same as it is in the United States. So unlike the United States, the German chancellor often appoints members of their cabinet who aren't in the same political party. Out of the current 17 members of Olaf Scholz's cabinet, 8 are Social Democrats, 5 are from the Green Party, including the vice president, or the vice chancellor, which is the second highest position in Germany, and 4 are Free Democrats. So his current cabinet has 3 different political parties, all of the majority government, which you do not see in the current United States cabinet. The chancellor also determines policy guidelines and how the government is structured at that current time. He is the commander-in-chief, the lead enforcer of the law, and since he is still a member of parliament technically, and he still represents a constituency that voted for him, he is the lead legislator. And then the president, he's elected every 5 years through a federal convention, not a majority rules election. The federal convention is half Bundestag members and half representatives from the 16 German states. They come together every 5 years. This is their only job, and they elect a president. This role is largely ceremonial. The president doesn't have many powers. I compare this to King Charles and Queen Elizabeth. They hold state dinners and speeches, and they do not directly appoint chancellors. It is more of a proposal because the president actually used to serve a much larger role. In 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg appointed Adolf Hitler as chancellor um, without approval from the Bundestag and other legislators, which was very controversial. In order to prevent this from happening again, after World War II, a functional government was set back up, and they decided to severely limit the power of the presidency. So this was the kind of moment where the chancellor grew to have a more prominent and powerful position than the president, and now the presidential powers are severely limited, and he just serves more as a ceremonial figurehead. Um, he does, however, represent Germany nationally and internationally. He does sign treaties and appoints and assigns foreign diplomats. Now, the president must sign laws before they are passed, although it is still more ceremonial and less politically. And then the president focuses on more non-political issues facing the country. Even though he is a social democrat, he kind of stays away from the politics and focuses on like crises that are happening in the country. The president, for example, uses their speeches to highlight non-political issues at home, such as the pandemic recently and natural disasters and other imminent crises, such as right now they're having a major immigrant crisis. So they will hold their speeches on that and the housing crisis, as mentioned earlier. So the president serves a more ceremonial role and less a political role in the country of Germany, as opposed to major countries such as the United States. So these are my references. I hope you guys learned a lot through my presentation. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to email me or reach out to me, and I'll be happy to try to answer those questions for you. I really enjoyed researching these countries, and I will enjoy watching your guys' presentations too. And thank you guys for watching.